of a sudden, I was sitting there with my mum moaning about the internet and about how addicted I am. And all of a sudden, I looked up in the sky and I saw this line of stars in a complete brilliant line, Bri, wasn't it?
A complete brilliant line.
No, but what I mean is that
the formation, they were uniform. The formation was uniform.
Complete brilliant line. It was brilliant. It was brilliant and straight, going up the sky, following each other. Going up the sky, following each other, wasn't it, Bri?
They were all following each other.
And so I called out. I thought, "Oh my God, I've had too much to drink, or what here? What am I seeing? Is it an alien invasion?"
Hello. I could eat about 1.5 million of these.
Well, nobody's perfect.
Welcome to the It's a Drama podcast.
Daddy, I love him.
My mother thanks you.
If you can't say something nice.
Right, Mr. DeMille, I'm ready for my close-up.
Hello and welcome to the It's a Drama podcast. I'm Liz.
And I'm Brian.
And today we have got a dazzling show for you. Dazzling. Bobby Dazzler show.
I like Bob. Who was Bobby Dazzler?
He was Bobby and he dazzled.
Yeah.
If you're new to the show, we are Liz and Brian, husband and wife, and we talk about all things in the middle, all things that happen in the middle of life going forward. So not like dying and things like that, but just
a bit before that.
The bit before you die. No, we talk about travel. We talk about living with our young adult kids. We talk about making money online. What we did was 5 years ago, Brian was a plumber. I was homeschooling the kids. And 5 years ago, we did this brilliant thing. We took our teenagers traveling around the world for a year. And we had the most amazing trip. We did it on $100 a day. But when we came back, we decided to change our life. Bearing in mind, Brian was in his 50s and I was in my late 40s.
Yeah, old fart. Yep.
And we decided to change our life and we said, wouldn't it be great if we could just carry on with this lifestyle? If we could just keep traveling whenever we wanted to, and just make money online. Bearing in mind, we had never done anything like this before in our life. Yep. You need to know that. And that was 5 years ago. And we set out, we taught ourselves how to start businesses online, how to put content online, and we've just built and built and built, and now we are location independent. We live in New Zealand, but we do spend a lot of our time traveling, when we can and when we want to, and we just come on this podcast and we talk about that and life, and just like I say, just being in that stage of life that's exciting.
Yeah, I had a great someone saying, they actually told me on a podcast, they were actually talking to me through the microphone, Liz, and they actually said to me, a way to look forward in your life, no matter what age you are, but mainly as you think that you're getting older, because I turned 60 this year, and he just turned around and said to me in the microphone, in my headphones, and he said, is your future brighter than your past?
What did you say? No.
I
just like a dull candle, just flickering out.
It went out a couple of years ago, mate, when we did this world trip.
I'm sorry, Brian. I'm sorry. I'm just trying to wind you up.
Yeah, but it's that thing. It's not until you actually just think about it. Is your future brighter than your past?
Do you know what would be really good, Bri? Is if we ask the listeners of this podcast, can we ask you something?
Do you give a toss what I say?
No. Can we ask you something? Wouldn't it be great if we asked you to just... What do you think we are in there? What do we bring to you? Yes.
Because we don't know ourselves, so could you tell us who we are?
We do struggle with, what is it that you... I know it's entertainment. We love to entertain. We love to chat. We love to just be real. But why... let's just have a little bit of fun with this. Why don't you email me at Liz@itsadrama with just a couple of words that you think describe us the best?
Who we are.
And I'll tell you what, it better be nice.
Yeah. My friend Cliff could probably tell me who I was.
No, it's just... that would be a really good thing to do. It would be... we would appreciate you. If you're listening to this and you're a regular listener and you think, Liz, Brian, don't you know you're this? And we could then put it into an intro.
Yeah.
Because other than that, Bri, what we're going to have to do is stick everything that I've just said, put it into ChatGPT, whatever that thing's called that you're always going on about, and just say, what are we? What is this podcast about?
Who am I, Mr. GP?
So on this week's show, we're going to be talking about, actually staying on the ChatGPT thing, we're talking about the internet. I did something really, really scary this week, and we thought we could tie it in nicely with something that happened in New Zealand on Sunday night. Like I just said, you're listening to this podcast from New Zealand, on the North Island of New Zealand, in a place called Taranaki. That's the region. And something happened on Sunday night to do with the internet. And I thought, yeah, that ties in nicely what we're going to talk about.
Yeah, I mean, the internet, it's,
Hang on, I'm not getting there yet. The rest of the other thing that we're going to be talking about on the show.
Is your past brighter than your future?
That's what we should call this show. The bright future. I wish I could unsee now that bloody little flickering candle that's just burning out, just down to its last wick.
In the wind.
No, and we're also going to be we're going to be reading a section of my book, which I'm really excited to do, and going to be sharing a little bit of listener love with you, especially this one email that I got from this one lady. Made me cry my eyes out. I know it doesn't take much, but this was just super special, and I'm just going to read a little bit out to you. Yep. So let's just jump straight in, Bri.
Yep.
Sunday night. We're sitting there. We had a few people. We had my mum and my stepdad round for dinner.
Yep.
And we're sitting outside. The fire's lit. It's autumn in New Zealand at the moment. It was one of those beautifully starry, cold, crisp, but still nice enough to sit outside.
Yeah, it was. It wasn't windy,
wasn't it?
In other words.
And we're sitting there, and I was talking to my mum, and as it happens, actually, I know I shouldn't say this, but it's all right, she won't mind me telling you. But as it happens, she was just having a good old moan about the internet and about phones and about, just like how, I don't want to say intrusive, but just how they've become such a part of our life that it can be a little bit, very much intrusive.
Yeah, because, I mean, you can use the internet for two ways, but the way we're talking about is it's like, it's snatching your time away from you that you had doing different things, isn't it? It's like, we have talked about this before, but it's just that feeling that when you get 2 or 3 seconds of quietness, you reach for the phone, hand goes in the pocket. You're standing out there with everybody else, and everyone's looking down in the phone and not looking around, and it just becomes like an obsession, doesn't it?
Yeah,
and it just does. And
we'll talk about that in a minute, because like we said, it's just like we just told you, our business is online. We couldn't speak to you without the internet. Yep. We wouldn't be doing this right now.
If you're driving along and listening to a podcast, it's because of the internet.
But there's that fine line, isn't there? Anyway, we'll talk about that in a minute. Yep. So back to the outside in New Zealand. So we're sitting out there, nice glass of red wine.
Sun's just gone down.
Yep. Well, it's gone down quite a while because the stars are out, so take that back. Sun had gone down ages ago. No, stars are out, moon's out.
That comes into a line with what we're about to talk about.
Oh, right, does it?
Yes.
Okay. And all of a sudden, I was sitting there with my mum moaning about the internet and about how addicted I am. And all of a sudden, I looked up in the sky and I saw this line of stars in a complete brilliant line, Bri, wasn't it?
A complete brilliant line.
No, but what I mean is that the
formation, they were uniform form. The formation was uniform.
Complete brilliant line. It was brilliant. It was brilliant and straight, going up the sky, following each other. Going up the sky, following each other, wasn't it, Bri?
They were all following each other.
And so I called out. I thought, oh my God, I've had too much to drink, or what here? What am I seeing? Is it an alien invasion? I called into the kitchen, didn't I, Bri? And I said, come and have a look, Bri. There's some brilliant straight stars in the sky.
There's lots of straight stars.
Yeah, and you came out and you said, "Oh, that's Elon, your friend Elon."
My mate Elon.
Yeah, is
this
Starlink?
Yeah,
is this? Tell me about it. What is it?
Starlink. It's to give the world affordable internet. So in any place. Around the world, that eventually that's what it should become, because these are low orbit satellites. I think he launches around about 32 of them from one rocket, and so they have to obviously start out and then they all go out, and then they'll start to drift further apart.
Where do they go from?
From wherever they launch them from.
What is that, in America or New Zealand or what?
I believe it's in America. It would be at Starlink's base. That's where I would imagine they would set their rockets up from. Sometimes it would be Cape Canaveral or those sort of places like in Florida and stuff like that. Yeah.
So are these little stars satites that beam down and give? What you're saying is they give everyone in the world internet. Is that right?
In theory, there should be no outage, no dark spots, because it comes from above. As long as you can see a certain section of the sky, then you'll get internet. Yeah, because it's either a copper wire at the moment, or it's beamed, Wi-Fi, whether it's 4G
it's just
or
weird,
whatever.
Wasn't it though, Bri? Why were they all in a straight line like that?
Because they start off from one point, don't they? And then they're all put into orbit, and then eventually, like I say, they'll stretch further out. And so imagine all these satellites orbiting a lower orbit than like the likes of the GPS things and what have you that we
Have we got Starlink? Do we get our
Do you know,
internet from
in
Starlink?
New Zealand? No, we get it from. We've got fibre optics, which are about 5k down the road from us. At the it's a place called the Green School, and you can you purchase internet off them. So they beam it up by little Wi-Fi transmitters.
Do you think Starlink? Before I start having my rant,
Yes.
Do you think Starlink is a good idea, Bri?
Yes, I do.
Do you? Why?
Yeah. Because again, it gives people all over the world, because there's lots of companies
You have to pay for it though.
Yeah, of course you do. It's around about in New Zealand about $165 a month, plus the initial outlay of the equipment, which is around about the same, about $1,500 to $2,000.
What do you mean equipment? What equipment? Like a star searcher or something?
Yeah, it is. It's a
telescope.
It's a star searcher. So it's.
Are you having
No,
me on?
it's a little. You either put a dish on your roof, or it's a box. It used to be a flat box that you put on the roof, and inside the box, it's got things that track the satellites as they come overhead. So it just jumps from satellite to satellite, and
Right.
it keeps it. And so, in theory, you're dealing direct with America. For the internet, where the internet is based, so you doesn't have to go through fibre optics through New Zealand and then down under the sea or.
It's all internet based in America.
Yeah, the majority of
Is
internet.
it?
Yeah, the
All right,
majority
so I
of
didn't know
servers are
that.
based in America.
So
Yes.
the other thing is then,
Like Google
Bri,
is based in America.
Yeah, I know
So
Google
we also
is.
use that as a search engine, don't we? And
But
stuff
I
like
didn't know that the
Microsoft,
actual power
Apple.
of the radar, the rays came from America.
Yeah, I mean you can have an internet server in different countries. I mean New Zealand's got its own internet server, but it connects to the main internet, which
Okay,
I believe
so-
is based in Silicon Valley, isn't it?
Thank you for explaining that, Bri, because that's really good explaining.
Yeah, I'm probably wrong. Someone will say, "Oh no, it's
No,
from
you're
here."
not.
But I
No,
would say
you know what
that's-
you're talking about when it comes to this stuff, don't
Yeah.
you? But you've always said to me, "Oh, Liz, because I'm like, oh no, I'm not paying that much money to have internet. Our internet's fine." But you keep saying to me, "Yeah, but then when we go travelling, Liz, we'll never have to worry again about getting rubbish internet."
Yeah.
Hang on, how does that work though, Bri?
Well, at the
Hang
moment-
on, I haven't finished. All I'm doing is taking a breath.
Yes.
All I'm saying
1
is,
and 2 and 3 and 4.
what I'm saying is, how does that work? When you say we can go travelling, how does that work when you've just told me that to get the internet,
Yes.
you have to put a dish on top of the roof to, attract the rays?
The rays, yeah. Well, that's what at the moment, if you've got a motorhome or something like that, or say you've got a holiday home, so you'd have to have an internet connection at your holiday home or your motorhome. You'd have to really be off 4G or, the internet providers, not the internet, like a mobile phone providers, rural broadband, which will use the 4G network or the 5G network. Whereas if you can have this, at the moment it's geolocated to your house, so you can't go and take it next door, or you couldn't take it on holiday with you because it's not that big a box that
So
you've
you
got
lied
take
to me
with
then?
You. No, it will get to that way.
Bri?
What? No, I'm not lying to you. What is it? At the moment, there's not enough satellites up there to give this full
Right.
that you can go roaming with it and the stuff like this. So they want to make sure that. At the moment, they don't want to have a poor service, so they might say, "Oh, there's too many Starlink people in your particular area, so you until we get more satellites up, you'll be on the waiting list." So they geolocate it, so you can't go wandering around everywhere with it. It will get to the point because Vodafone New Zealand, which have now be called One NZ, it's going to be called. They've teamed up with Starlink to give no blackout points in the whole of New Zealand by 2024.
Right, that's what I want to talk about.
Yeah.
This is what I want to talk about. So that was the Sunday night when we went up and we saw these stars, and it was all very pretty, and it was all a bit weird. It was a bit science fiction.
You only see them at a certain time of night. People say, "Oh, it's making a mess of the sky," but that's what I was trying to say. After about an hour of the sun going down, when the sun is still close enough around the sort of curve of the Earth, these low orbit satellites will shine up at the moment because they've just been launched. Not only that, we saw another train coming from the other direction, didn't we?
But it freaks me out a little bit, right? It was all really pretty and everything. So there we are.
It's just an amazing feat of engineering, to be honest.
Well, so Sunday night, so we did all that, and then that got us talking about just the internet as a whole. But when you say, "Oh yeah, it's really good because there's going to be no dark spots,"
Yeah.
On Sunday day,
Yes.
me and you went down to the beach. We were just, when you just like, "Oh, do you know what? Turn everything off. Well, let's just go, take our Kindles. Whenever we want just some time just to decompress and just get out of our own head, we take our little stove, our little tea and our kettle, our little tea stove and our little gas stove thing and the kettle
Yeah.
and our cups, and we've got some really comfy camping chairs, and we go down to a spot in New Zealand, in just not far from where we live, right on the beach, and it's tucked right in between these flaxes. It's really protected. The water is literally lapping right in front of you, but you've got these big green flaxes to either side, so you just feel like you're really hidden and tucked away, and you can just go there and you just sit and you just feel like you're in the middle of nowhere, even though we were only 10 minutes from home. Anyway, we were down there on Sunday, and we got talking about something, I don't know, like you do, and just Google it and see what it is.
Yeah, let's see what that said.
Yeah,
that
let's see. Yeah, it was, and it was like we were trying to remember.
What did they say on that channel again?
Yeah. And Brian got his phone out. He's like, "Oh, there's no service." And you know what? It was like, I just felt like this huge wave of relief come over me, Brian.
Instant gratification.
No,
But that's what it is, isn't it? Because you want to know what you're talking about. And
yeah, but that's not how I felt. I didn't feel instant gratification.
I'm just saying that's what we all aim for, isn't it?
Yeah, but I just felt this relief of, oh, thank God, I'm let off. I don't need to do it. I don't need to look on there and see what she said and what it meant and have this. And it just felt like someone was almost just tucking me up in bed and going, there you go. Don't have to worry about that. Good night. Yeah. So this is my worry of like when you say, oh yeah, it's brilliant because you're going to be able to go everywhere and everyone's going to be turned on all the time and you're going to be able to get all this internet. I don't know if I agree with that, Bri. I don't like it.
Do you know what? It's again, this is what I did say this. This is your choice whether you can just press the flight mode button anytime you want, can't you? And disconnect. It's up to you whether you think you need the urge then to switch the flight mode off and reconnect to the internet. I know there's what you're saying is you go to somewhere that you haven't got any choice. Do you know what I mean? So that's what I'm saying. It's your mind over matter, isn't it? That if you don't want it, just turn it off.
All right, then. Well, what are me and you going to do when we go out?
But what the other side of it, because you only got to 2 seconds then. So the other side of it, what I'm saying is that there's places in the world that don't have very good internet, the likes of Africa, or I was listening to a story
Cornwall, Newquay, Cornwall in England.
Yeah, again, similar thing.
Rubbish.
But the Khan Academy, and the Khan Academy is an online academy that you can learn. So, and they're trying to get AI to teach people in the likes of Africa or even in the parts of Taliban-controlled places where only men are allowed to go to school. And so if a girl can stay at home and learn stuff, and there's a fantastic story about that. So that's what I'm saying. This type of thing for humanity alone and helping people just to bring everybody to a same sort of level where it's affordable for everybody to be
I know all
able
that.
to use it. So
I understand that side of it, but what I'm saying, and I know all the goodness.
Farms in the middle of nowhere.
I know. It's brilliant. That's what I'm saying. It's brilliant.
Yeah.
For people who, like you say, can't get it and it's remote. But what I'm saying is, what about the people who have too much of it and have never got that chance to just go, oh, let's go, like somewhere you go to camping sometimes, oh, let's go there on holiday because they've got no internet, it's bliss. And you go and it's like, it just feels like a relief. And I don't like the feeling of thinking wherever you go now, you're never going to have that feeling ever again, that you've just lost that.
Yeah, correct. But again, it's a choice, isn't it? It's a choice that just turn it off.
I don't know what it's going to be like with me and you then, because there's you.
It's a bit like driving,
singing and dancing. Hang on, there's you singing.
1, 2, 3, 4.
There's you singing and no, I'm only joking. A conversation is a conversation. I don't mind if you interrupt. But what I'm saying is just there's you sing you like it. I don't like it. Then how do you come to a decision when you're out together to say, do you know what? No, we're leaving it off. I mean, it's easy with me and you because.
Yeah. But you say I like it, Liz, but yeah.
Well, yeah, you just sat there and told me about the farmers in Africa.
Yeah, but you're saying whether I like it.
You and your friends never always turned on.
It's no different than, like you say, you're taking your Kindle down to the beach, which your Kindle's not. It can be connected to the internet if you want it to be. You just hook it up to your phone and away you go, don't you? Like, if you want to get a new book and stuff like that. But again, it's that discipline it goes back to your discipline of your mind, doesn't it? Because it's just the more I pick my phone up now, the more and more I realize that I'm doing it not so much out of boredom, but just because you're not being that mindful, are you? You're really not, are you? You know, and it's like you've always got a screen next to you, you've always got this, and it's just like, oh, just thinking of that. Oh, let me just have a look at how much does that one cost? And just, let me see the specifications on that, or just something. And it's just, I don't know. It really does affect your life. And we've got to wake up to it. Because, and I'm not saying I'm perfect by any stretch of the imagination.
No one is. No.
But this is just the discussion that we're talking about, is the amount of time that we spend on these things that are attached to our hands now.
Yeah.
You know, and people go, don't have a neural link and something like that. Well, it's like you already are. You're attached to your iPhone or your smartphone, your Samsung or whatever it is.
And so that's where it came in. That's where the whole thing, like I say, it was an interesting conversation that we had, because 1 minute it's there and it's in the sky and it's wonderful and it's all this internet is coming to all these places. And then you suddenly think, I don't know if that's such a great thing or not. And I suppose it, like you say, it comes down to choice. It comes down to, but also having that bloody willpower to just go, do you know what? No, because the other weekend I turned my phone off for the weekend, right? Yeah. And I text Tess and Sonny and my mum. They're the three people that only need to know I'm not on the phone this weekend. If you need me, call Brian. Yeah. And that was it. And do you know what, Bri? It just felt, again, it felt like one of those wonderful, like you've just been let off. Yeah. That's the only way I can describe it, is like someone just going, okay, you're off. Yeah. You can go. Yeah. You're dismissed. Yeah, you know that feeling of,
It's a bit like picking a seed out of your teeth, isn't it? Like, you know, and there's that relief that, that's nice. It's just that, I totally agree. I mean, I'm making an effort now not to walk out of the bedroom, because we don't have our phones in a bedroom. But they just sit in a stationary cupboard. Well, it's a little tiny cupboard with a printer in it and stuff like that.
Sounds better though if you said stationary cupboard.
Not that there's like, you know,
so just cubbyhole.
It's W.H. Smith's in the house. And so it's to walk past that and just go and make a cup of coffee in the morning or a cup of tea, not grabbing it and then checking emails, or just check what the score was or check what this was. And I didn't pick up the phone today till 1:45. Because, you know, I don't know what it was, but I had checked emails on my computer. But it's just that, do that at the set time when you're supposed to check your emails. You don't, cause, I don't know, it's how it makes you feel, isn't it? You check something and there's the bill that you weren't expecting, or there's this, that way.
Oh, if you see something bad, it's
not all good stuff. And it's just like, can
it
it just affect the whole mood of the morning, can't it? Like, you know, and it's just, I'll just check this. I'll just see if anyone joined this or just joined that, or. Yeah.
So it's a fine line. It's especially when you use it for work. And to be honest, most people use it for some sort of their work will contain on the internet, whether it's been emails or getting bookings or
whatever it is, checking your banking,
doing whatever. It's just keeping that, I don't want to say balance, because I think that's an overused word at the moment, but it's just keeping everything in check to where you feel, I feel good, you know, I just feel.
Because what was it like before? What was it like before the internet? You know, I know.
Well, we certainly couldn't have done this, and that's the double-edged sword, isn't it?
That's true. It would have been so hard to do.
We wouldn't have been making our money online.
Yeah, how could you get it? It would have had to have been a recorded cassette that came through the door, wouldn't it? Like, you know, that you'd send to people, like, you know.
Right. So moving on then.
Yes.
Talking about the internet. Last week, as some of you know, I'm just about to publish my first book. It's a book about traveling the world with the family, with Brian and Sonny and Tess, on $100 a day, and it's a collection of short stories, hilarious things that happened to me and the kids and Brian while we were traveling the world. And last week, I decided that it would be a really good thing to do to get people to sign up for my email. It would be a really good thing to do is offer them like an incentive, like say, if you sign up and be on my email list, I'll give you this. That's what it's called. When you're a content creator, you give things away so that people will give you their email. And then once you've got people's emails, you can always keep in touch, you know, as long as you respect that email and you don't spam and things like that. But that's another story. But anyway, it's a great tool to be able to just say, you're on my email list, and then no one can ever take you away from each other. It's a wonderful way to connect. Email. It's much better than social media, and it's just So last week I decided that as a little freebie, what I would do is I would sit on the toilet and read the introduction of my book, of which you're going to hear another little snippet in a minute when I've finished telling you about this. So at the time when I videoed it, I was so confident. I was just having a really confident day. I remember it was a Saturday, and I said to you, didn't I, Bri? Oh, do you know what? For social media, what we should do is we should video me reading the book.
Yeah.
And you were like, oh yeah, where do you want to sit? Do you want to just sit outside in the garden? Do you want to just sit on the couch? And I was like, no, do you know what would be really great is if I just sat on the toilet. And you're almost like, what? You sure, Liz?
Yeah, but the thing is like, I mean, I don't know. Are you talking about titles today and stuff like that? No, because yes, that sort of a lot of the stuff sort of goes hand in hand with what that is. Because I was thinking, yes, but like, are you sure you want to do that?
Yeah,
because that's just like, it's one of those things, isn't it? Today it's a strong day, tomorrow might not be such a strong day, and you think like it's exactly what you're saying, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's just, oh my God.
I know. And so when we videoed it, it was a Saturday. I was just feeling so confident. This was about 3 weeks ago, and I was on top of my game. I was just like, yeah, I'm going to sit here and I'm going to read it, and it's going to be brilliant. And it is brilliant.
It's fantastic.
Don't get me wrong. You know, sometimes when you look at a photograph of yourself, or you read something that you've written, or you watch something that you've just recorded, and you almost, I can't explain it, but you almost, you sort of like step out of your own body and watch it as if it's not you. Mm-hmm. That's what I did. When we recorded that video, I was like, wow, who's that? You know, it's she's good, you know, and just like, I never normally think that about myself. So I was really proud of what I did. That's what I want to say.
Yes.
I was proud of it. So that was 3 weeks ago. I recorded the video, and then last week I came on the podcast and I put an email out to my newsletter, and I'm like, do you know what, everyone? I'm going to send you a video of me reading the introduction. Just sign up here and I'll send it to you. And lo and behold, people started signing up. And I was like, oh no, you know, now I've got to send this video to them. And of course, last week I was just feeling rubbish, to be honest. I was just feeling not the opposite to confident, just the opposite to feeling strong and let me give you this video. And I can't tell you how hard it was to watch people on the internet download, because you can see on the video thing, you know, on Vimeo, you can see how many people have watched it, and you can see how many people click on your page. And every time I saw someone clicking, I was like, oh my God, they're sitting there watching me on the toilet read my book.
Well,
and it was just, it suddenly hit me, Bri, that have I overshared? Is this going too far? Is this just...
No.
And so, it's going back to that internet thing of, you would never have been able to do that. You wouldn't ever have been able to do that.
Originally, what these videos were for the likes of social media, to do little tiny 20-second, 30-second clips of them. So, you know, look, this is me reading a section of my book, please, you know, and it's all that marketing stuff that, you know, this is all stuff that you've been researching to try and sell your book. Yeah. And that's why we talk about it on the podcast. You know, it's because it's, you want to share it with people and, you know, get yourself out there, don't you? So, and that, but to then put it all as one complete video and then give it away to your people who sign up for it, it's amazing. But then I didn't think you would feel like you felt like this morning when you were talking about it. You just think, oh my God, have I gone too far?
Not when I was bawling my eyes actually on the deck.
Yes, first thing in the morning.
I know. Well, I was because it's
my phone?
Just feel, oh, sod this, I don't like real life.
Geez, go back to the phone.
It just feels super flipping scary, massively scary. Yeah. It really does. And if you have got that video, thank you so much for downloading it, and thank you so much for signing up to my Front Row newsletter, and thank you just for being here on this journey, for being in this podcast and going, oh, we'll sit and listen to you read your book, Liz, and emailing and saying that you're enjoying it. I'm in no way saying that I'm not grateful. I'm just saying that, it's been scary. It's been a scary moment when you see that that's how powerful the internet is. You can put a video, you can sit in your toilet, you can record it on a Saturday, and within 30 minutes, someone in China or someone in the South Pole or Alaska is watching it, and it's just, that is when it blows your mind. And I think you'd be abnormal if you didn't sit here and go, oh my God, what's going on? Am I doing the right thing? You're just constantly questioning yourself and just thinking, is it the right thing? And
but I think the hard part is, like you say, it's worldwide. Normally it would have been in the town or the city that you're in, wouldn't it? And that's that side of the internet that blows me away every time. When people all around the world are listening to this podcast, and you think, wow, it's that side of it it's a bit scary sometimes, But
so I think what we should do now, Bri, I think we should just jump in and read the section of the introduction. So this is a part of the introduction. If you sign up for the Front Row newsletter, you will be sent a video of me reading the entire introduction. And I'm reading it from the loo, and don't worry, it doesn't put you off your dinner, hopefully, or anything like that. It's nothing too bad. It's just, I'm just sitting reading it to you. But this is a section of it. Before we jump into that, if you haven't yet signed up for my Front Row newsletter, and you haven't yet had the pleasure of seeing me reading the introduction to you from the lavvy, just me and you in private, then you can do that by signing up for my newsletter by going to www.itsadrama.com/front row, as in front row, as in you get to see everything from the front. So
and it's front row all in one word.
All in one word. Yeah. So without any further ado, let's just jump in and I'll read you another little section of the introduction. And now, introducing Liz's book that's going to be absolutely brilliant.
Take it away, Liz.
There are lots of other things in life I assumed I'd never be able to do. Some of which I did, and some of which I'm still working on. Giving birth twice without going to a hospital? Yes. Teaching my kids from home instead of sending them to school? Yes. Getting on the front page of Home and Garden? As if. Travelling the world for a year with 2 teenagers and a husband with acid reflux problem? Yes. I'll say that again, in case you missed it the first time. Travelling the world for a year with 2 teenagers and a husband with an acid reflux problem. Yes. I know. I still can't believe I'm talking about myself when I say that out loud. Me, of all people. You see, up until a few years ago, I believe that people like us, like me and you, don't do things like travel the world. No. People like us sit on the toilet scrolling Pinterest, wishing we owned an outdoor stone pizza oven and a pergola with fairy lights. People like us make to-do lists and add things we've already completed so we can cross them off and feel instant gratification. People like us don't turn our backs on everyday life and take our kids travelling around the world for a year. No way! Not us. Oh, by the way, have you tried that new pink gin that tastes like grapefruit? Ooh, it's delicious. Anyway, even if we wanted to up and leave, how could we? We're not millionaires or missionaries. We're certainly not influencers, whatever that stupid word means. People like us don't build orphanages or eat mung bean stew. We don't even know what language they speak in India. Is it Hindu? Or is that a religion? Oh, never mind. Would you like a slice of lemon in that? No. People like us stay at home with our phone-addicted kids and our kitchen drawer filled with lidless plastic containers and our yappy dog that has separation anxiety. People like us don't leave everything behind and take off around the world for a year. They just don't. The end. Do they? Yes. Apparently, they do. After years of being the woman who sat in the car waiting for her kids to finish music lessons, while devouring social media posts about families who went on exotic trips for a really long time, I finally did the same. Me and my family. We went around the world. For a year. We upped, took off, and went. Just like that. No experience, no previous convictions, nothing. We sold my husband's business and used the proceeds of the sale, $50,000 that had been allocated for our retirement, to travel around the world for a year. We left our house, life, car, clothes, the kids' friends, schoolwork, the pink gin, and our nervous dog, and swapped it for 365 glorious, mostly glorious, days trotting around the globe. And we did it on a little over $100 a day. How you came to be holding a book written.
What I want to know is what's mung bean stew.
Mung bean stew. That's what all the hippies eat when they go travelling the world.
Dear.
So yeah, there you have it. There you have the next piece of the introduction from the book. Now, the other thing I wanted to tell you that I did this week is I went and put that video out where I'm reading the introduction. And after I released the video and sent emails out to people saying, "Oh, here's the video of me on the loo," I realised that I hadn't told anyone the name of the book. And within that introduction that I'm reading, and next week you'll hear about this because I say it in the introduction piece that I'm reading, I actually give the name of the book away completely by accident. I didn't intend to do that. It was just I give the name of the book away. So while we're on a little bit of a fun, why don't you email us with names and things, I wonder if you can guess what the name of the book is. If you have downloaded that downloaded that video, if you've signed up for the Front Row newsletter and you've watched the introduction of me sitting on the loo reading the introduction to you, did you guess what the book was called, I wonder? It would be really interesting for you to email me and let me know at liz@itsadrama.com or brian@itsadrama.com and just see if you can guess the title. And next week's podcast, I promise you, I'm going to tell you the title of the book. It's absolutely brilliant.
Maybe I won't talk again just in case I let it slip.
I know. You've got to be careful, Bri. It's all hush hush now.
Yes.
Mum's the word.
Mum's the word, okay.
Before we leave you today, I just wanted to say we've got this thing now that we do where we do listener love, and we get some flipping gorgeous emails. Really do. We get some
amazing how many you
lovely.
guess, isn't it?
Yeah. And see, that is where the internet is top, isn't it, Bri?
I know. Yeah. But it would have been a post bag before, wouldn't it?
Actually, I love post.
Yeah.
I love
the Blue
post.
Peter post bags when they used to come in.
Yeah. Do you know what post bags reminds me of? Father Christmas.
Yeah.
Just coming along with his big sack and all his Santa letters. I know.
Yeah.
But anyway, I haven't got any letters to unfold and show you, but I have got the names of some lovely people that I just want to say thank you so much to. Murray Sterling, thank you so much. You are just so wonderful. You send me lovely emails. And to Paulette, and guess where Paulette lives, Bri? She's a new listener. Her daughter got her in on the show. Her daughter's moving to New Zealand, and she said to her mum, you have to listen to these two. They're flipping brilliant, these two are. Guess where she's from, Bri?
I don't know, deepest, darkest Peru?
You're not going to ever guess this.
Go on.
North Pole, Alaska.
Oh.
Can you believe that?
No, I can't. What does that mean? Alaska, the North Pole, or North Pole? Is there a place in Alaska called the North Pole?
I don't know. She just signed off.
Wow.
Paulette from North Pole, Alaska.
Oh, right. I'll have to look into that.
Oh, maybe you should, Brian.
Yeah.
Maybe you should have a look into that.
Maybe I should whip on the internet and have a quick peek. Hang on a minute.
So thank you so much, Paula. And to Aaron from the USA. Aaron is a dog handler. He's a member of our private community on the NZ Ahead community. And he just said, I'm always looking out for your new episodes.
Oh.
I just really love what you and Bri are doing. So thank you so much, Aaron. Yeah. But before I let you go, I'm going to ask for 5 more minutes of your time. And I just want to share some of this beautiful email that I had from a lady called Suzanne. Suzanne she's a Kiwi, but she's lived in Canada most of her life. And last year, her and her husband, Randy, moved over to New Zealand. And they're just living this wonderfully nomadic life. They've got this gorgeous camper van, this motorhome, and they're just traveling around New Zealand, retired, and just living the life of their dreams, basically. Yeah. They're members of our private community, our NZ community, and that's how we met them. But you know, when you just meet someone and you're just like, oh, you're just lovely. She's an artist. She's just a lovely, lovely person. And the other day, I happened to mention on a podcast, I think that, you know, that writing this book was scary, because it is. And she just sent me this divine email, and I'm just going to read you a little bit of what she said. It was a very long email, but I'm just going to pick some bits out of it. She starts the email by saying that every drop of sweat and blood adds up to success or failure. But the more blood and sweat, the sweeter the success. So that was a really lovely thing to say. And then she just said to me, Liz, what if your book inspires someone else to do something amazing that they would never have done otherwise? And then she goes on to say, I'm not sure if I would have been so brave enough as to pose for a photo in my underwear in a video. Sorry, to sit in my underwear in a video reading out your book. But then again, I wouldn't have been brave enough to go around the world for a year. She said, and this is just so lovely, and this really it made me cry. She said, just knowing you makes me feel like I could be a bit braver and more daring. Instead of making excuses about what for, I feel more like asking why not. God damn it, Liz, if you can sit in your underwear on a toilet and read an excerpt from your book, then I know I can do something with my life. You are a real inspiration, Liz. Don't ever stop being you. If I could be more like someone when I grow up, it would be you. So when I give you encouragement and support, I am doing it for me. I am selfishly pushing you to get done what I can't do myself, in the hopes that by your example, I will have the courage to dust off one of my own dreams and start dreaming in that box. Isn't that just gorgeous? Yeah. Yeah. So thank you so much, Suzanne. That was in response to me saying, oh, it's scary and I'm so scared, and it's just flipping lovely. And yeah, before I go, I just want to say, sorry, am I just rambling on, Brian?
No.
But before I go, I just want to say the one thing that internet has done for me in particular, it's brought out all these wonderful people that we never, ever, ever would have known about. Yeah. We never would have heard their beautiful words. We never would have connected with them. And that is worth flipping Elon's stars lined up in the sky, isn't it, Brian?
It is, because there's so many times we hear of people, you know, with all the things that go on in the world, and we tend to hear all the horrible stuff, and then everyone jumps on the bandwagon and end up hating someone and cancelling someone. And you just think the internet's just an evil, horrible place half the time, don't you? Like, you know, and then you get things like this, and it's just connecting with like-minded people. And, you know, it's that old saying, isn't it? What you put out, you know, you get back.
Yes, definitely.
You know, if you put out crap, then you get crap back, don't you? But if you just put out love and everything else, and just being real, I think that's and just being yourself, isn't it?
Just being yourself, and just being light-hearted. I think is just
take it with a pinch of salt type thing, isn't it? You know,
and like you say, and I keep trying to say this to the kids at the moment. We've talked about this in the last couple of podcasts. Well, the last one we certainly talked about it. There is so much on the internet about, oh, you're going to get cancelled. Oh, you can't say that. Everyone will hate you. Everyone will turn against you. And you just think, do you know what? If only you knew how much love and support there is also out there on the internet, it cancels out all that rubbish. It really does. And that's what I'm trying to remember when I'm doing things like sitting on the toilet reading you my book. I'm just trying to remember that there are people out there that this is going to make them laugh. Like, you know, they're going to sit there, hopefully, and just laugh and go, oh my God, you know, that is flipping, if nothing else, it's like brave, you know. Yeah.
Well, so is it the book that is the most read in the house is When You Haven't Taken Your Phone to the Toilet, When You Haven't Done This. And it's just like, so you've got 5 minutes for yourself and you reach out for the book on the shelf if you've got books in your toilet, don't you? Like, you know? Yeah. And you know, we've always had one somewhere in there, whether it be a guidance book or a, you know, life's little instruction book or, you know, survival book. The kids always used to pick up the survival book.
So thank you so much for being with us. And like I say, like attracts like. And if you're listening to this podcast, you are an adventurous. You are just a wonderful person. I'm going to send it right back. I'm going to get Elon's big mirror and I'm going to flash it right back at you guys, because you're just a special kind of person that just wants exciting things to happen in life. And that's what really, really makes me happy to be able to do this podcast and have you with us. So thank you so much for being with us, and I will see you next week. Don't forget to sign up for the Front Row newsletter.
Yep, www.itsadrama.com/front row. You probably already signed up if you're this late into the podcast.
Yeah, you have.
If not, get on the internet. Yeah. So kia kaha, stay strong, and kia u, stay true, and we'll speak to you next time.
Bye.
See you now. Bye.
Thank you so much for joining us today. We have loved having you. Don't forget, if you would like that exclusive unreleased video of me reading to you the very first chapter of my yet to be released book, this is top secret, it's very exclusive, and it's just for my subscribers. You can sign up to my Front Row newsletter by going to www.itsadrama.com/front row. Sign up for that. I will send you the video. You are going to laugh your head off. You're going to love it. And I'll speak to you soon. Bye.